Okay, we are doing well-ordered language. It is Tuesday, November 7th. You should be working on page 52, lessons to learn. B, the reflexive pronouns. And remember, our reflexive pronouns can be found. We did A yesterday. Our reflexive pronouns for review can be found on page 45. Myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, and themselves. Okay, our first, thank you, Zuri, for that. I know what I'm talking about. Thank you. Our first sentence is, the lady at the Space Needle gave herself a scare yesterday. Okay? So, our order of analysis, remember? Say it out loud. You read it for me. Phrases, clauses, principal elements, modifiers. So after we read the sentence, we are going to look for any phrases. Are there any prepositional phrases?
No.
This keeps moving.
At the Space Needle.
Can I?
Here, Mom. No, it's here. Mom, you did it backwards, and then we might want it to be a little. Hold on. Wait. Can you hold this? Hold it. You have to put it upright. Because you started the video upright.
Oh, it doesn't change it?
Nope.
Okay. Bear with us. We shall get this.
Because
You're going to have to use your listening ears.
iPhones aren't very good, so.
Okay. It's not true. All right, so where is our prepositional phrase?
At the Space Needle.
At the Space Needle. So, oopsie, I want a different color. At the Space Needle. Here's our preposition. At the Space Needle is the object of the preposition. The is our adjective, right? And please try to work through these sentences on your own and then do them with me to see if you got them right. So we're going to read the sentence again. The lady at the Space Needle gave herself a scare yesterday. This sentence is declarative, right? We have a period there. It's declarative because it's making a statement. This sentence is about who?
Lady.
I sure hope you said lady. So I'm going to underline it once and put an S above it. This sentence is telling us that the lady gave. Go ahead. This lady gave. Gave what? What did she give?
Scare.
This tells us that
She gave herself a scare.
scare is telling us what the lady gave. So the lady gave us what? A scare. So that's our direct object, correct? Now, this is something you may not be familiar with, and that's why I decided to do this video. Scare tells us what the lady gave. So scare is an objective element because it completes the meaning of the action verb. It is, it is a direct object because it tells us what the lady gave. Herself tells us to whom lady gave a scare. So herself is an objective element because it completes the meaning of the action verb. It is the indirect object because it tells us to whom the lady gave a scare. So the process that we're going to have is like the lady, what did the lady do? The lady gave. The lady gave who or what? She gave a scare. Well, who did the scare go to? The scare went to herself. So this is an I-O, an indirect object, okay? So you're gonna circle it and put an I-O underneath of it. Yesterday, so now we're gonna look at our modifiers. We got our principal elements. We're gonna look at our modifiers and gonna go from right to left. Yesterday tells us when the lady gave a scare. So yesterday is an adverbial element because it modifies a verb. It is an adverb.
No.
A is our next modifier. It is modifying scare, right? This is an adjective. At the Space Needle, our prepositional phrase is telling us which lady gave a scare. Which lady?
Old lady.
The lady at... Is that what you had done, Rosine? Now that I think of it, did you do it in adjectival prepositional phrase?
Well, what's it pointing to?
It is answering the question, which lady? Which lady?
The lady.
The lady at the Space Needle. So this is an adjective. This prepositional phrase is modifying lady. And the is also pointing to lady.
Pretty sure everything's pointing to lady. No? Wait.
It is an adjective. It's telling which lady as well. It's an adjective. It's an article. So now to diagram it. This one should be fairly easy. Now, I'm going to diagram it in the way I learned, but I'll show you how they diagram it in the book. I learned it like this. We have the subject, then we have the verb, then we have the direct object, and then we have the indirect object. Or is it the other way around?
I put herself on the last one.
I know. Okay, so if you were looking at this chart, they have subject, verb, indirect object, direct object, okay? So I will show you how to do it this way. So we have lady, gave, scare to herself, right? A scare. When did she give it? Yesterday. Which lady? The lady. Which lady?
A lady. Lady at the Space Needle.
At the Space Needle. Okay? So that's what it would look like. But I will show you how they did it in the book, which is a little different. You can choose which way you would like to do it. They put the subject, verb, direct object like we normally do, but then they put here the indirect object underneath of the verb. Okay, the next sentence I have here is sentence number 2. She wondered to herself how the elevator would make it to the top. Okay. Order of analysis, remember? Phrases, clauses, principal elements, modifiers. Are there any phrases?
To the top.
Um,
And to herself.
yeah. I see when I wrote it down, I went ding, 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 to. Oopsies. To is a preposition. To herself, right? So right now, herself is not acting as indirect object. It's acting as an object of the preposition. To is our preposition, herself. We also have to over here. to the top. Our preposition, object of the preposition is top. The is our adjective, right? Clauses. Any clauses? Now, if you're unsure, it's not a common www.asia.wub, but it is on our list. Might not be too familiar with this one, but look here. How is a subordinating conjunction. So find how in your sentence, and we're going to mark it with those arrow brackets. Remember? Whoa, where'd the sentence go? How? And then we're going to put those in the brackets like that. Remember? We got a little wonky over here. So this is our whole subordinate clause. How the elevator would make it to the top. So our main clause is, she wondered to herself. Now this is our main clause because it makes a complete thought, a whole sentence with even out this part. We could just leave the sentence like this. She wondered to herself. But remember, us women like to know more. We want to know how. How did she wonder to herself? She wondered how the elevator would make it to the top. She wondered how, okay? We want to know more. All right, so we have our phrases, our clauses. Now we need to look at the principal elements. That's our subject and verb, right? So let's read our sentence again. She wondered to herself how the elevator would make it to the top. Principal elements in our main clause. She is our subject. Underline it once. She did what? She wondered. There's our predicate verb. Now is our verb transitive or intransitive? She wondered. Well, that's followed by a prepositional phrase. So this pattern is just a SVI, okay? How, now we'll look at the principal elements in our clause. The elevator, this is our subject, would make, will make. I recognize would is a helping. Oh, I don't need to underline it, sorry, because it's in the clause. This is our helping verb. This is our predicate verb. Would make who or what? The elevator would make it. So this is our direct object. You don't have to circle it, but it helps me kind of keep things clarified. Okay. So now we have to do our modifiers. To the top is a prepositional phrase. It's an adverbial prepositional phrase. So we need to point this one to make. Adverbial prepositional phrase. Because what question is it answering it? How the elevator would make it, make where? Where would it make it? To the top. So remember, adverbs ask the question how, when, where, why, how often, how much, to what extent, under what condition. So where did it make it? To the top, okay? It's an adverbial prepositional phrase. The elevator, there's our adjective. How, that's our subordinate conjunction. We already have that in our brackets. Here's our other prepositional phrase. Now, is this modifying a noun or modifying a verb? We have to determine, is this adverbial prepositional phrase or an adjectival prepositional phrase? She wondered to what extent, I would think. She wondered to herself. This is definitely an adverbial prepositional phrase. I know it's not adjectival because it's not answering any question like what kind, how many, which, or whose. So it's adverbial. So we have an SVI in our main clause, and this is a SVTDO. And remember, we always diagram our main clause first. And how is our subordinating conjunction, which is going to connect our verbs. So again, here I have my subject, my verb, and my direct object for my clause, okay? So she wondered how, but she wondered to herself. So we have this prepositional phrase, to herself, how the elevator would make who or what? It. And don't forget our prepositional phrase to the top.
Who was the lady?
Where would it make it?
The lady was the lady.
To the top. Okay? Our last sentence, sentence number 3. Actually, during the ride, the elevator stopped by itself. Order of analysis. Ooh, phrases, clauses, principal elements, modifiers. Are there any phrases? So we're going to be looking for prepositions. Yeah, I see a preposition. I certainly do. I see during. I know during is preposition because I have all my prepositions memorized from my prepositional chart. And I also see by. By is also a preposition.
And dive. Or die.
Okay, by preposition, itself object of the person. During is our preposition, the ride.
So P is just a during.
The is our adjective. It's an article. All right, so let's read it again. And we're going to look for clauses now. Or any conjunctions. A subordinating conjunction. When, while, where, as, since, if, although.
Water.
W-U-B. Wub.
Wub.
Whereas, unless, because. So I'm going to read again. Actually, during the ride, the elevator stopped by itself. I do not see any subordinating clauses. So I'm going to go straight to finding my principal elements.
Or
The subject and the verb.
Or it stopped.
This sentence
From
is...
an earthquake.
Nice. This sentence is declarative. This sentence is about an elevator. So I'm going to underline elevator once. Mark it S for subject. This sentence tells us that the elevator did what? It stopped. That is a predicate verb. It stopped who or what? No direct object. So this sentence pattern is just a SVI. So we're going to diagram it like so. Okay? It's a SVI. Now we're going to look at our modifiers. By itself is a prepositional phrase, but is it adverbial or is it prepositional? Is it answering the question of an adjective? What kind, how many, which, or whose? What kind? By itself? No. How many? By itself? No. Which? By itself? No. Who? It's definitely an adverb. Adverb. It's telling us how it stopped. It's answering the question how. How did it stop? By itself. This is definitely an adverbial prepositional phrase. You should be able to do that one in your sleep, right? The is an adjective. It is an article. Now tell me, is the We know it's an article, but do you remember, is it indefinite or a definite article? If you can't remember, you can look at chart L. It tells us all about our adjectives, and it will show you right here. It is a limiting adjective, and it is telling how many or which. A and an are indefinite articles. The is a definite article. It is the elevator, this very elevator. It's not just any elevator. It is the elevator. It's definitely this elevator. So it's a definite article. So we have during the ride. It is another adverbial prepositional phrase. Modifying stopped. It's telling us when it stopped, right? It's answering the question when. When did it stop? During the ride. And actually is actually an adverb. You're right. It's telling us, whoop, let's go all the way down here. Wee, boop, wah. So there you have it. Now we're going to diagram it. And we already said this is a pattern of a SVI. Okay. So I have my subject, the elevator, stopped. Now I need to fit all my adverbial elements to it, right? Actually, during the ride. When did it stop? During the ride. How did it stop? By itself. All right, that concludes lesson for today. Please also do page 53. Write the reflexive pronouns. Look back in your lesson to find those. Also rewrite this into a simple sentence, compound sentence, and a complex sentence. And then that is it. And then tomorrow we will be doing lesson C, and I will send that video to you as well. I think, let me just look at this. Maybe you can do it on your own. Did you buy yourself a gift for your birthday? Did you buy yourself a gift for your birthday? What I would do is I would rewrite that sentence, make it a declarative. Did you buy yourself a gift for your birthday? You bought yourself a gift for your birthday. So I would see that you is our subject, bought, so buy in the original sentence is your predicate verb, and did, you did bought or did buy is a helping verb, okay? Buy what? A gift, that's your direct object. Buy a gift for who? Yourself. So yourself is going to be your indirect object, remember, okay? Is your indirect object. So, yeah, please don't. So when you're doing this one in the question, helping verb, subject, verb, you, so remember your sentence. You bought what? A gift. So you buy what? A gift. That's our direct object. For who? Yourself is the indirect object. And this, of course, is a prepositional phrase, right? For your birthday. Okay. Next one is Franklin and Elliot stopped themselves before they asked the questions. Franklin and Elliot did what? They stopped. They stopped who or what? Themselves.
before a question.
So themselves is the direct object. Okay.
Oh, gift.
The next sentence is put yourself in her position first and then ask her about it. Oh, I saw when I read it,
Ooh.
I saw and.
And can you help me instead of and?
That's a conjunction. Put yourself in her position first and then ask her about it. Ask her about it.
Can you help me?
One second. So I will tell you right now, when you're doing this, I will not make a video tomorrow. I'm just briefing you today. When you do sentence C, what is happening is you have that conjunction. You have a compound verb, a compound predicate verb. So, oh, and you know what else is happening?
Can you help
I might have to do a video tomorrow. This is an imperative sentence. So what is our subject?
Can you help?
Our subject is, I'll show you here. Our subject is you. You put to her what? Yourself in her position first. And here's the other verb. Ask who? Her about it, okay? So you do, on Wednesday, you do lesson C, but here's your answers for lesson C, but don't look at it until you try to do it on your own, okay? So here it is. You are implied because it's imperative. Put yourself, that's your SVI, and ask who, ask her, oh, SVTDO, ask who, ask her, and then here's all your modifiers, okay? So here is the answers for lesson C when you get there. All right, bye. We'll see you on Thursday. There will be no video for Wednesday.